Finally, we got some silly season news, and honestly, it gets me really excited because I really feel like that with these couple of moves that I'm going to talk about, we really have a good idea about where some of the key prospect figures are that we've kind of been talking about, where they're going to end up in the Trucks or Xfinity series. And the main one today being announced was Rajah Caruth, who will be driving the number 24 truck for GMS Racing next year. With Rajah taking over the number 24, he will also become teammates with his ARCA rival from last year, Daniel Dye. And now Petty GMS honestly has a decent little pipeline put together here with Rajah Caruth and Daniel Dye both on their way up. And these are both two guys that I think are, talented. They just need a lot of development, and Rajah is no different. He is a guy who is has a lot of wheel control. He is very good at being able to adjust his car, to being able to save his car. He's just a raw, talented driver. He just has not been able to put it all together. And last season, competing in ARCA, I was really disappointed he never got a win. He really, while he was incredibly consistent, it's not hard for a team with decent equipment to be incredibly consistent in ARCA. So to me, I was a little disappointed with him last year in ARCA. He made up for it a little bit with some decent truck runs, kind of showed that there's something there. He just really needs to kind of prove it to himself, really kind of prove it to us, and just be developed. And I think that GMS is going to take that time. As far as what I'm expecting out of Rajah next year, it's kind of hard to say because GMS Racing really was hard to gauge last year because Grant Enfinger looked solid, but not as good as he's looked in the past. And Jack Wood, he looked horrible in the same truck Rajah's getting into. And I think that's more on Jack Wood, but I don't know. It makes me think that maybe with them going to Cup last year, maybe their equipment kind of just derailed a little bit. Those programs just kind of lost sight. And hopefully with Rajah and Daniel stepping into there, where they actually have some prospects they want to develop, it'll motivate them to up those programs. But honestly, I'm not expecting a win out of Rajah. I'm not expecting playoffs, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if he's at least contending for playoffs. What I hope, though, is that he finishes within the top 16 of the standings, has some very good consistent runs, good handful, maybe 10 top 10s, just really continue to develop. I really think that's what we should expect, and I hope that he overachieves on that. Next bit of silly season truck news that came out today, and this one's a little weird. Christian Eckes is leaving ThorSport to go and race for Bill McAnally in the number 19 truck, which to me, Bill McAnally is a bit of a drop in equipment. And it also, I thought Derek Kraus had already been announced to be back in that truck in 2023, but I guess that is no longer the case. And I'm starting to think the reason being is because Ford is trying to move some pieces around to make room for Hailie Deegan. This is all speculation, but honestly, it's the only reasonable solution I could come up as to why Christian Eckes would want to leave ThorSport, because he did really well last year. I don't see why ThorSport would want to get rid of him. And then you look at where he's going, and I'm like, I don't know why he'd be motivated to go over to Bill McAnally Racing. But honestly, I think it's because Ford needs a seat to put Hailie Deegan in, and I guess, to my ire, because I really wanted to see her in Xfinity next year, I guess they could not make an Xfinity seat for her, so possibly they're going to move her into that number 98 truck at ThorSport. As far as scenarios where Hailie Deegan stays in the truck series, I think this is the best one. ThorSport, in my opinion, is better than DGR Crossley. Hopefully, maybe she'll just find a better fit over there, better equipment, better teammates, and she'll be able to actually start to show some of the promise that she showed once she moved up to the Xfinity series last season. Again, very small spurts in the Xfinity, but still, she showed what we were expecting her to show when she first came up into the truck series. Hopefully, this will be a nice little soft reboot, and Ford knows what they're doing. So it's possible that Ford essentially maybe forced ThorSport's hand into letting Christian Eckes go, and Bill McAnally was more than welcome to take on I guess what they would view as a better talent than Derek Kraus. Even though I like Derek Kraus, I hope he catches on somewhere. I think he has more to prove than what he's shown, but I don't blame Bill McAnally for wanting to move on. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this is just wild speculation, or do you think that there really are a lot of moving parts going on, and maybe that's why someone as high profile as Hailie Deegan hasn't had their 2023 plans announced for next year? Tell me what you think in the comments, and I really hope that you all have a great day.